My brother publicly called me a failure in his wedding toast, so I legally shut down all his businesses.
We were seated in the private dining room of a hotel in Charleston, South Carolina. They mocked my thrift store dress, my secondhand sedan, my quiet accounting job, and decided I was invisible. They preferred the version of me that nodded and disappeared. I didn't make a scene. I didn't tear up in the bathroom or leave early. I drove back to my studio above a shuttered bookstore. That studio was their punchline. They thought it screamed failure. It screamed patience. My job was financial compliance at a commercial property group. I lived inside contracts, audits, and irregularities. 8 months earlier, through a holding company called Point Ventures, I had acquired the event and hospitality building where my brother ran his catering business, where my parents hosted their private supper club, and where his new wife's family operated a weekend venue rental. For months, I had quietly protected them, waived late fees, sat on inspection flags, let an unapproved kitchen expansion slide past 2 review cycles. The toast at that wedding made me understand that mercy without recognition is just being used. That's when it got worse. The morning after, I called our compliance lead and said, "Full audit, no holds, treat it like any other portfolio asset." She paused, then said quietly, "I've had these flagged since October." By noon I had everything. My brother was subleasing prep space off the books. My parents owed 3 months in reimbursements while advertising sold-out ticketed dinners. My sister-in-law's family was operating weekend events without current liability coverage and had rewired a load-bearing utility room without permits. This wasn't bruised feelings anymore. It was exposure. Formal notices went out on a Monday. My brother called the building manager. My parents called the building manager. My sister-in-law's father sent a letter dense with legal-adjacent language threatening arbitration. Then my brother texted, "You're acting unhinged. Also, do you know anyone in commercial real estate law?" I typed back, "Read section 4 of your lease." He responded with a laughing emoji. My mother called last. Not to apologize. "It was banter," she said. "Family humor." When I didn't soften, her voice sharpened. "You've never had real responsibilities. You wouldn't get it." That sentence didn't sting. It focused me. Then my brother forwarded what he called proof of a verbal easement, attached to a scanned letter bearing my late grandfather's signature. I still had his handwriting on birthday envelopes in my closet. My attorney looked at one image and replied, "Do not engage. This may be fraudulent." City inspectors walked Point's corridors on a Thursday afternoon. My family stood in the lobby, furious at a landlord they'd never seen. I stepped off the elevator, folder in hand. Our compliance manager said, "Ms. Alcott, we're ready." My brother repeated it slowly. "Ms. Alcott." His expression collapsed. I opened the folder and said, "I am Point Ventures." My mother breathed, "Tell them you're confused." As if the facts were being rude. My brother-in-law snapped, "You live above a dead bookstore." My attorney stepped forward. "Stop talking without counsel present." My father tried invoking my grandfather's legacy. I held up the scanned letter. "Don't use his name to defend a document that may be forged." The inspection took 90 minutes. Exit corridor blocked. Electrical panel overloaded. Commercial equipment installed without certification. Liability policies expired. Revenue events conducted without authorization. By end of day, all 3 operations were restricted pending corrections. My brother's catering license was suspended. My sister-in-law's venue couldn't accept bookings. My parents' supper club was shuttered. Outside, my mother caught my arm. "Please, just that word." I removed her hand gently. "You didn't know I owned the building, but you also didn't know I was worth basic decency." She tried. The toast was nothing. I looked at her steadily. "You meant it. You just didn't expect it to have a return address." My terms were simple. Cure every violation. Pay every outstanding balance. Communicate through counsel only. And never again speak to me like I'm the punchline of a room I'm quietly holding together. They complied. Because they had to. I watched people who called me invisible suddenly need my signature to reopen their doors. I kept that studio a little longer than I needed to, just to remember what clarity feels like when no one's watching. Silence was never the same as surrender.